correct.
Afternoon, Chairman Macbeth and fellow commissioners. For the record, I'm Mark Horn, the Chief of Fisheries. So last two items, everybody's ready to go home, so we'll make them quick. And believe it or not, they're not about game, fairs, or anything else. They're actually about trying to raise fish. Real quickly, the history on the Lake Mead Hatchery. It closed down in 2007 following the discovery of quagga mussels in Lake Mead and at the hatchery. After which, the crew that was there went through and disinfected the whole hatchery and let it shut down. We still raise fish at the federal hatchery at Willow Beach, which is downstream in the Colorado River. They allowed us to put net pins out into the river. We traveled from the hatchery down there, reared these fish, and stocked them in Lake Mead and Lake Mojave. And we also supplemented that stocking with fish from up here at Mesa Valley. Mesa Valley is a hatchery by Yarington, about 85 miles away from here. Eventually, the hatchery manager, lifeguard, retired, and we had one person left on station. I met with Rich and Ken in last year, and we decided to stop stocking Lake Mead and Lake Mojave with trout. The federal hatchery kind of wanted to get their facility back, and we were just getting lower and lower numbers, so we just decided to stop that stocking. Lake Mojave still gets stocked with fish from Willow Beach. The federal hatchery, they have it set up so they stock weekly down at Willow Beach, so that part of it still gets stocked with trout. And we continue to stock the southern region. There's other waters besides Lake Mead and Lake Mojave. We have several urban ponds in the Las Vegas area. We got perch, echo, eagle, and we continue to stock those with fish from up here in Reno. As far as Lake Mead goes, it dropped approximately 100 feet in 10 years, and the water intake was close to the surface. I think it got up to 35 feet away from the surface. What that meant was they were sucking in very warm water. This happened when the hatchery was still in operation, and we were experiencing water temperatures of 70 degrees or more, which won't kill trout, but it creates an environment where they're very susceptible to diseases. And that's what we had happen the one year we did actually produce fish in 2006. We have some good news. This year the lake has come up over 20 feet, and I predict by the end of the year it will come up 30 feet, which means the intake will be deeper. It will be 60 feet, and they predict the same for next year. There's a thing with Lake Powell upstream where they do an equilibrium balancing between the reservoirs, and so not only do we have a good winter, but they kind of owed us some water. So we're getting to a point where the temperature might be conducive to raising trout again, so it's something we'll investigate. We still need to have a sand filter, which would be very large for the hatchery for the water supply to filter out the quagga mussels. That'd be about $700,000, so that's something we would have to take into account. And the fact that we could only stock certain areas until we could see if that was indeed 100% successful, so we wouldn't want to move the quagga around the state. The Southern Nevada Water Authority is presently, and has been for a couple of years, drilling a new pipeline out to the lake. It's expected to be completed in 2013, and it'll get water from a couple hundred feet, so the water will be cooler. But if we go to them, there'll be a hookup fee of about $2 million, and we'll have to do a new pipeline, which is another $2 million. So nothing's really right. The hatchery itself, it's got 4 residences, and it was kind of available. Different groups, mostly federal agencies and colleges, petitioned us, and we now have 4 studies going on, 3 of them on quagga mussels and 1 on razorback suckers. Razorback sucker is an endangered species in the Colorado River, so they're doing different experiments there using a part of the hatchery. Most of the quagga studies, which I have a copy of, if anybody wants to see them, has to do with trying to kill them, trying different techniques to see if they can eliminate it. And Ken and Rich always ask, anyone who wants to buy a hatchery. We'll sell it to you. So, any questions on the hatchery?
You might mention about the bond that we're paying off.
Right. Okay.
I'm not sure they're aware.
Yeah, we took out $16 million in bonds originally to refurbish the hatchery, both Gallagher, which is up by Elko, Lake Mead, and a little bit at Mesa Valley. We're paying those off through federal aid monies at a rate of about $700,000 a year. So I figured out the other day they're going to get paid off in 2040 something. Anyway, I'll be really old. So we pay on those every year. Which one?
It's not that long.
It's a long time.
We're paying twice that. We're paying federal aid and trout stamp dollars, so it'll be in the 20s.
We get a heck of a debt, and that's the problem. We're trying to find somebody who wants to buy the hatchery.
Fisherman Lynch.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, this, it was a shame. How long was it in operation before it was shut down?
Well, yes, over 20 years in operation, and then
I mean, with the refurbishment.
Yeah, 1 year. We actually raised fish 1 year, and we, like I said before, we had a little trouble with that because the water temperatures were in the 70s, and we lost. I can't remember exactly, but about a quarter of the fish from disease.
And I guess has anybody on this commission been there? Not for years, because it was it was pretty state of the art, number one, and it did have education component built in, trying to tie people into wildlife and fish, and it had a big. I guess my question had to do with I know that there's been wheeling and dealing going on with regards to the water. The first question is, what happens to the mussels that are as this water level rises? What happens to the when we start getting to where the mussels are now? Do they get in cold water and die, or I mean, what's? I don't want to get into
they have
a
depth. That they're down to. Most don't want to be down to 100 feet. But they found them deeper, and they think so. There's all these characteristics that they're supposed to obey as quaggas, and then they find out once they're down there that they violate those. So there's not as many, I believe, because of light penetration and whatnot. The deeper you go. So.
Okay, and then, so with regards to the water deals that were being made with the water company with that new pipeline, wasn't that kind of a done deal at one point, and we were going to get the thing was going to be brought back online? Was it a money issue primarily?
Well, yeah, one time there was negotiations. We get our water from BMI, and they were going to be sell out to SNWA. So that was going to be good for us because we could use the existing pipeline to transport water. That never came through.
So there's no plan there's nothing really in place right now to just sitting on a dead piece of property with a lot of money into it at this point?
Well, kind of. We tried to open up the universities. We got 4 homes. They're being occupied by students or researchers. We charge them, the regular, what we think is a fair rate, $450 a month to live there. And when the hatchery's in operation, it's only $100 a month, but you have to do night duty, and that's kind of figured in with the rent. But they pay $450, and then they pay part of the utility cost to operate the hatchery. So, it's just not sitting there doing nothing, but it's not producing, a million trout.
Well, I'm sure hate to see us not try to push forward. I know it seems like a money pit at this point, but damage is already done largely. Here's your cut bait, I guess.
Yeah, well, like somebody mentioned earlier, it's kind of like the stock market. It goes up and it goes down. Hopefully it goes back up again, the stock market, but hopefully Lake Mead goes back up again. I mean, if it comes up for 2 years in a row, we'll be, back where we started or even better. And so at least the water will be cool enough, and then we can work on, we have an existing pipeline, we have an existing, water, we get our water supply for BMI, so we get that already. So we could be, up and going in a couple of years. It's possible.
you can see our dilemma. We have a lot of money invested, so we want to use the facilities, even the educational center in there. Problem is that the water that runs the virus sprinklers is quagga water, so you can't turn that on if you had to. And we're talking lots of money to build an ozonator and chlorinator, dechlorinator to make sure that the quaggas are dead, even if you had cold water, if you didn't have to chill. So it's a very complicated thing, and I don't know what the business deal is between Southern Nevada and basic water. We were hoping that that was going to be consummated. It is not at this point, and I don't know what the holdup is there. So that's our dilemma.
Sure. Okay, any other, oh yeah, Commissioner Howell had a question.
Mark, did you say that Powell is full again?
Well, it's come up quite a ways, and I'm not sure exactly on agreement, but when it comes up over a certain level, it's supposed to have timed releases down to Lake Mead, and they kind of exceeded that and didn't give them the releases. And so through negotiation, they're releasing water in addition to the heavy winter we had. But I don't know exactly how full it is, but I think it's 78%.
Do you remember us discussing a year or so ago about Daisy and putting an advisor sign there that says the use of barbless hooks is suggested when fishing for trout?
Yeah, did we do that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, we'll get on it.
Thank you.
Slip that in. Okay, any other questions? Okay, thanks, Mark. I'll move on to agenda item. So, have you talked about the aquatic invasive species yet?
No.
Okay. You kind of did in the other one. Okay.
Okay.
So, agenda item F, aquatic invasive species update. Chief of Fisheries Mark Warren, a brief update on what is going on in the world of aquatic